Insta360 6 months later, is the camera worth it, or should you save your money and buy something else? Let's find out today.
Driving downtown, foot pushed on the pedal, move to songs we played together, feel like we're on holiday, I got a feeling it's a good day.
So how versatile is the Insta360 X4? Well, you can use this camera in many different scenarios, and it really does shine when used in any sort of action sport. For example, mountain biking, but the main advantage of the Insta360 X4 is how flexible the camera is and what you can do with that camera. Insta360 really did step up the market when it comes to 360 cameras. They released the Insta360 X4 and they pushed the boundaries of 8K resolution from a small sized pocket camera basically, and that is very incredible considering what other competitors are offering at the moment, which is very little compared to this. But after 6 months, would I recommend the Insta360 X4 to you guys? In short, 100%. I think the advantages of this camera far outperform the disadvantages, and I'll talk about them today. So the main advantage of the X4 is the ability to reframe your video to your needs. What we have here is a small clip of me hiking in the Schilthorn in Switzerland. And from the Insta360 app, as you can see here, using the mouse, you can basically crop or move around the video 360 degrees and position it where you need it. And that is the major advantage of using something like the Insta360 X4 over a traditional action camera. So the next advantage of the Insta360 X4 is the 8K resolution. When Insta decided to release the X4, it was a huge step up compared to the previous model, the X3, which only offered 5.7K. Here we have some footage from the X4 shot in 8K and 30 frames a second. We have reframed the shot to get a wide, broad view of the bridge on Via Ferrata, and as you can see, we are retaining good quality from this video. It's also worth noting that these shots are not possible on your traditional action camera, which is why this camera is set apart from anything that is on the market right now. So you do really get an advantage from using something like this to a GoPro or a DJI Action. The next advantage I would like to talk about is the application that you can download for your phone. I do believe this app is far superior to anything that GoPro are offering or even DJI. And if we look at the first page on the app, you can see that you've got a bunch of tutorials on how to do certain things. And also below that, you've got a creative section where you can use different effects and apply them to your videos to get some cool transitions. So if we head out to our album tab, which is right next to the Explorer, we can click our videos there and edit our videos directly in the app. From here, we can edit our videos to whatever suits our needs. And the cool feature of this app is the ability to put on status from your Garmin device, or I believe Apple as well, and maybe some others. But personally, I am using the Garmin watch, so I get to put all the data on the video if I want to. But it is noted that this is not available in the PC software or the Mac software. This is only available in the app. When it comes to editing videos in the app on your phone, it can be a little long-winded at times, but in general, it is very easy to reframe your shots and position them wherever you need and edit the video to your needs. It's also worth noting recently, Insta360 have invested a lot of time into developing their app on the phone, and there has been a lot of updates over the last couple of weeks, months, and we have now got the ability to allow AI to edit all your videos on the app on your phone But although this is pretty good, the better way of editing videos is always on a PC or a Mac and using the Insta360 Studio instead of the phone app. If we head over to the Edit tab and we open it up, we have a list of options that we can choose from and presets. So if we go down the list, we have what is called as flash cuts, and then from here you can import your videos, how many there is, and select one of these flash cuts, and it will create a short video for you to be used on your social media. Although this is a fun section to use, I really do believe, and I stand by the fact, that you should be editing your videos yourself in the Insta360 Studio app versus the phone app. But this does offer a easy, quick workaround on editing your videos for your social media platforms. So if we select auto edit in the top left section, we will go into the AI feature of editing your clips. From here you would select a multiple amount of videos that you have taken, and it will compile them into some sort of edit. And from here you can select different sounds, different effects, and it will give you a very basic edit that you can work with. Another great feature of the X4 is the ability to use the DJI mic through a Bluetooth connection, but also you can use the receiver as well by connecting it directly to the camera. So let's talk about what is wrong with this camera and the bad points on it. I like to start with the lens guards because I do believe that these are the main reason what holds this camera back. But obviously the benefit of using these is that it protects the expensive lenses underneath them, but at a cost. And after 6 months, I have a love and hate relationship with them. And the reason for that is the fact that they get dirty very easily, and there is absolutely no sealing around these lens guards, which I think there should be some sort of gasket or a O-ring seal to prevent any moisture from entering the lens guards, causing them to steam up. One solution to avoiding the lens guards getting dirty and spending your time constantly cleaning the lenses is to put a lens cloth over the top of the camera like so, and then placing the rubber sock over the top of it. And once you have done this and you put it away in your bag or in your pocket, every time you take the camera out and remove that rubber sock, the lens cloth will potentially clean any debris right off those lens guards, and the camera will be ready to use without any need of cleaning the lenses, which can be beneficial when you are in a run and gun situation where you haven't got time to clean the lenses. So I got some video clips here to show the problem you come across when using lens guards, and as you can see from the video, we have got a sort of hazy patch where the sunlight has hit the lens guards and created some sort of like foggy section on the lenses. Now, from my experience, I have found I can clean the lens as much as possible and it doesn't make a difference. You always get these bad artifacts on the lens guards, which is a shame. But I have not tested the premium lens guards to see if this problem persists with the extra premium lenses, as I believe they are made out of glass rather than plastic. But from reviews and other people, I have seen that the premium lens guards don't really offer any better clarity in image quality. Here we have a video where the sun is directly behind the clouds and we simply do not have the problem of the glaze shining onto the lens guards, which gives you a really nice clear crystal image coming from the camera. When it comes to the durability of the X4, I think this is where its weakness starts to shine, because without the metal cage wrapped around the Insta360, you do run into issues where you are constantly worried about damaging this camera because how fragile it is. And I think that this camera really does need a cage wrapped around it. So if you do not have a cage for your X4, I do really recommend getting one. And this is why the X4 cannot be considered an action camera, because it is not as rugged as your typical action camera like a GoPro. By adding a cage to the X4, you minimize the risk of also damaging the threads which are internally into the camera at the bottom. With a cage on the bottom, you can see that it has a threaded insert and also fingers like a GoPro, so that you can mount a GoPro style mount to the bottom. It's also worth noting that the cage does add a little weight to the camera, and you really do notice this when you're using the selfie stick at its full extent. Editing footage on the X4 can be a bit of a pain because you need to run the files through the provided software, because simply these file formats are not supported on DaVinci Resolve. I do believe Premiere Pro has a plugin that Insta360 has developed which you can use, but at the moment DaVinci does not have this on offer. And when it comes to editing 360 footage, this can be pretty painful process because it adds a lot of time to your workflow. But Insta360 does offer a project tab at the top in the middle, and from here you can edit your footage like you do on your typical editing software like DaVinci or Premiere Pro or anything like that. But I do prefer to use DaVinci Resolve over this software, because unless you are only using 360 videos, I can't see any use for this at all. When it comes to exporting your edited files from the 360 Studio, you have many options here. You can change the bitrate and set it to H.264, H.265 or ProRes file formats. But when exporting in ProRes, you do get very large file sizes, which is expected. Exporting in ProRes files does add a lot of time to your workflow, and exporting times from the Studio app isn't that fast. So a conclusion on the Insta360 X4. Is it worth it after 6 months, or is it not? Well, the answer would be depending on yourself and whether this camera suits you, or whether the negatives affect you that much. But for me personally, I think this is a great addition to your camera bag. It's not suited in every situation, but it does give you a unique perspective that any other camera doesn't offer. The downfalls of this is the weight, especially extending the full pole to its full length. It does get heavy, like I stated earlier. Carrying it does become a problem, especially in sport activities. I don't know whether that could be like skiing, hiking, for example. I do a lot of hiking, and I do find this is a problem. A via ferrata, like I done recently, that was a major problem. I did find that the weight of this camera, especially with the cage on, did affect me how long I could hold it at its full extent. But the trade-offs of that is the camera angles that you can get with this over a small action camera does outweigh the weight of it. So if you've got strong arms, you can carry this all day long, but you may find maybe after 10 minutes your arms are going to start to ache. So that is one of the major downfalls of this. Besides that is the lens guards, which I think is the primary disadvantage of the X4. It does let the camera down personally. I think they could have went a different way about it. For example, the sealing on the lens guards should have been there, but it's not, so they do tend to fog up quite regularly, which is a huge downfall. Besides that is the image quality. The image quality coming from these lens guards pretty bad, but if you're just using this for family vacations, social media content, it's perfect. But if you want the better quality from this camera, you have to remove them, and you take the risk of damaging your original lenses then, opposed to the plastic lens guards, which may be a deal breaker for you. For me personally, I learned to live with it. I don't want to take them off, but at the same time I do, because I want the better quality. But so far I've just left them on and used this method of basically leaving a cloth in the rubber sock. So when you remove it, you get a clean crystal lens. But like I said earlier, it doesn't matter how much you clean those lens guards, you're going to run into issue at some point. And that's just how it is with the lens guards. Besides all that, the camera is fantastic. The 8K video is a huge upgrade to the older version model. The reason I didn't get the X3 was, from looking at reviews, the video quality just wasn't there. And after trying this one out, I could really see the upgrade from 8K over 5.7K that the X3 offered. So that is a plus. Sorry, I'm in the middle of a hike, so it's during the winter as well, so I haven't really done any walking, and clearly I'm quite unfit. This view today, or tonight, this evening, it is roughly 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we got some incredible views up here today, so we got to make the most of that. The other thing I want to talk about are the X4, which I think is an advantage over something like a GoPro, is the heat dissipation on this camera. When I done my Via Ferrata a couple of weeks back, it was absolutely roasting out there. There was no wind and it was hot. You could really feel it, and the cameras were getting extremely hot. And this camera here didn't miss a beat. Yeah, I had no issues with overheating whatsoever, but I was also using a GoPro 11, and that suffered with shutdowns every couple of minutes, which was a bit of a nightmare considering you're on a Via Ferrata. There's not a lot you can do other than just get on with it. But I had a great time using the X4, which is what it's made for. I couldn't say it's an action camera due to the size of it, the weight of it, and how fragile it is, which is another point. As I mentioned earlier, this camera is fragile. You really don't want to be dropping this like your traditional action camera. It's just simply not going to take the bumps. But with a cage on the outside, it does help, and it does protect the edges, but it does not protect the screen, and it does not protect the lenses as well. But the lens guards do that, but they only help so much. So it really boils down to whether you want a camera that can shoot at all angles but sacrifice the action camera ability. I know you can still use it in action sports, but carrying it per se is hard work. If you've never felt the weight of one of these on the end of a selfie stick, it's heavy. And I'm running the carbon fiber pole as well. I do recommend whoever's going to get one of these is get the carbon fiber pole. Do not opt for the aluminium one. They are prone to breaking, so I recommend using these, especially if you're going to use this on a car, for instance, or a motorbike or any sort of sport. Get the carbon fiber one. It's a little more expensive, but it is worth it. It is strong. I haven't had no issues with it personally, but the aluminium one, if you go on the Insta360 forum on Facebook, for example, you will find people having some serious problems with the aluminium selfie stick. They do tend to snap. And also the 3-meter one, I've seen people mount those to motorbikes, cars. That selfie stick is just simply not designed for those purposes. So avoid using that on any sort of sport activities, I say. It's just basically there to give you a fake drone shot, basically, and for walking around with. Now, I brought up a few bad points with the X4 and sort of his downfalls, but I still love this camera, no matter the downfalls to it. Using it just to get that 360 view of everything is just something that you have to experience yourself. Personally, I was put off from 360 cameras due to the quality of the image, like I said earlier, but if you do really want a 360 camera, this is the one to get. I find myself shooting in 8K permanently in 360 for my use cases. The other modes, like the 11K time lapse, is pretty cool, and you can get some cool time lapses from that. But the 8K is the mode you want to stay in. Unless you're shooting in low light, you should be dropping that to 5.7K. So yeah, such a good camera, but I wish they did a little better with the lens guards, like I said, and making it a little bit lighter. That would have been a plus. But mainly the lens guards, I think that is the major downfall with this camera. As I said earlier, even if they just put a rubber O-ring around the lens guards, that would have been a major difference. I still think they could do it. They could manufacture one, but personally I don't see that happening. Maybe on the future camera they will, but on this one I don't think so. So that is basically summary of the camera. If you want 360 videos, go get it. It's pretty awesome, but don't expect miracles from it. At the end of the day, you've got two 4K sensors each side, and once you crop them in, you're not getting 8K footage, you're getting something like 2.7K. So don't expect 8K footage from this after cropping, but it is pretty cool using it and using the app. The app on the Insta360 is something else. When you compare it to his competitors, like I said earlier, it's just blown them away, basically. It's so much better. So that is a plus side. And Insta did release a new action camera as well, so that looks pretty cool. I don't have one on hand, sadly, but the new AI technology is definitely something to be desired in the future, I think, for action cameras at least. But I'd like to see a smaller one of these so I could throw it on a drone or something like that. You can throw these on a drone, by the way, but they are just, yeah, I find it too heavy. So yeah, I'm finally at the top. Stunning views today. I'm a little out of breath. And with the dogs as well. So yeah, that will be the end of the video for today. I'm trying to create more content as well. I find it a little difficult with my job, especially with being winter as well. So I've just basically come straight from work at the moment, and the sun is almost gone, so I haven't got much daylight to play with. But I hope to make more content in the future. I know a few people want to know about the 9-inch, but I simply just haven't had the time to finish it off. That will be soon, I'm pretty sure of it. So keep in touch for that. But until next time, I'll see you soon. Cheers.